Compass FM. Here's a regular on our radio station, Debs Taylor Hayhurst. She wears a couple of hats, does Debs, and today she's wearing her Woodpecker hat. And a very good afternoon to you, Debs.
Good day, John. How are you?
I'm great. Lovely to hear your voice, Debs. I hope you had a lovely Christmas and New Year break, and now no doubt rearing to go for another year with, as I say, all those hats you wear, Debs.
Absolutely, and because we didn't have a January edition, it was a month off, which was most welcome, I can tell you.
I can imagine. Now, the Woodpecker, for those that don't know, is a great publication. It's been going, over 40 years, am I right, Debs?
That's right, it has, yes.
Yeah, well established in the, the greater, shall we say, Wood End area, that's for sure. By the way, I know it's very, very popular, Find Woody. The kids and parents are sending in their photos or something about that. Am I right, Debs?
That's right. So the thing is, what we had was, because it's called the Woodpecker, and we still have yet to find out why it got its Woodpecker name, because it covers a number of different areas, including Wood End. But we have the Woodpecker as a logo, and so we came up with the idea of putting in a very tiny black woodpecker and calling him Woody, and inviting readers to try and find him. And the deal is, if you find him, you take a photo of yourself pointing to Woody, and you can have your moments of fame. And what's funny is, not only have children bought into it, but even the parents. And I've had one whole family. I've had the children, the three children, mum and dad, and she's now threatening that the animals may follow suit.
Oh, lovely. Well, it's a hit. It certainly is. Find Woody in your latest edition of The Woodpecker. There's a guy, I believe, by the name of Harry who sends stories, and I love this sort of thing in local communities. For instance, we've had a book dropped into us here at Compass FM by Bob Nimmo, who lives at Pegasus, Songs of the Pegasus Possums. And it occurred to me, we've got some great talent here in North Canterbury, and Harry is a guy who likes his history. And in this edition, I think he's sent in what is rather, a bit of a tearjerker story. Is that right?
Harry's the one that talks about all the history, and his latest ones have been about his recent events on his health issues, which he turns around. But I did have an emotional story about a wee dog called Inky, and it's by a guy called Kevin Warren, and he just emailed to say, would you like to share this story? And it's an absolute tearjerker. It's a lovely story. It's clearly a true story, and it's just something that happened. So it's definitely a good read. And I really love the fact that people in the community email and say, I've got some poems, would you print them? And even Bob Nimmo that you mentioned, he publicised his book in The Woodpecker as well. And it's really great, like you're saying, there's so much creative talent in the area that sharing those, poems and stories and articles are fantastic for people to be able to read and enjoy.
Yeah, fantastic. So you welcome that sort of thing. Good stuff at the Woodpecker. Deb, so Harry is the man who sort of, provides some stories of history from the local area. Is that right?
He does, and he has got some amazing stories, and the memory that he appears to have with names and dates and people and families of years gone by, and they've all got a bit of a moral to the story at the end of them, but they likewise can be quite hilarious, and he just has that humour that people love to buy into. So his story goes in there most months, and he's been providing his stories for quite a while now, which has been fantastic.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Quick update in terms of groups and community articles, for instance, Tuhaitara Park, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we invite, obviously we have advertisers, but we do invite community articles, whether it's events or groups. So, for example, the Wood End Community Association, Wood End Sefton Community Board, the Tuatara Park, which you mentioned, the church notices, medical information. There's a whole heap of information, so it's really everything you want to know. But, even, for instance, NZCA, the Travel Together that I know you've been promoting lots, talking about that as well. There are lots of information, so it's fun, it's informative, it's got stories and adverts and things. But I really encourage local groups to consider putting notices in there if they really want to generate interest and get people to register for any events that they've got. Then a great way, and another source along with yourselves that promote those community events.
Yeah, well, exactly. And we're all about community, that's for sure. And the Woodpecker, I think, am I right in saying, is actually a charitable organisation, Debs?
Yes, it is. It was set up as a charity, the Woodpecker Community Trust, many years ago. So we have no office and no paid employees as such. Everybody is a volunteer. For the most part, what I do is volunteer the editor role, whereas everybody donates their time free of charge. And, and it's a big thanks and shout out to all those that not only volunteer their time, because without them we wouldn't have a Woodpecker, but also to the readers who do give us their stories and the advertisers, because without them we wouldn't have a community publication, because it's all about for the community, produced by the community.
Yeah, absolutely. You need the advertisers. There's always a cost involved in these things, of course, but, if you can break even at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Debs, delivered to your door if you live in, I think, Pegasus, Ravenswood, Tuahiwi, Woodend, Waikuku, the beach areas there. Where else can we get it?
Well, I also update it on the local Facebook pages and groups, so I do advertise it widely. People can request to go on the mailing list by emailing or calling, and I can add them onto the mailing list. But otherwise, it's the digital publication is uploaded onto issue.com. So if you do issue.com/the Woodpecker with the number 4, you will find all of the past publications. So for anybody that hasn't read them before and wants to look at any past ones, then you've got all of them there. So there's hours and hours worth of wonderful reading.
Yep, absolutely. Final question, Debs. How can people contact you if indeed they would like to advertise with the Woodpecker, or indeed, as just discussed, if they would like to contribute something, it might be a poem, a story, or some community article? How do they go about getting in touch?
They can email me on debs.thewoodpecker@outlook.co.nz, or they can call me on 021 863 877. So either or would be fantastic.
Compass FM.